Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Wallo's Wallet and welcome back to another award booking demonstration where this time we're looking at an award booking request from Kobe. But first, if you're new to this channel is all about credit cards, credit card rewards, and showing you how to use your points and miles to travel for less. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing and turning the bell notification on as well. Now Kobe is actually looking to fly to Namibia for about a week. He's leaving, he's looking to go between March and April for between 6 to 7 days. He's leaving from Minnesota. He's looking to fly business class for 2 people. And he has 750,000 membership reward points, 175,000 ultimate reward points, and he does hold the Chase Sapphire Reserve in the American Express Business Platinum. Now Kobe, I'm sure you are aware that there is not a non-stop flight, not even a one-stop flight from Minnesota over to Namibia. And really, when I started looking at the options for you, the options from Minnesota to get to Namibia weren't great. There were a lot of stops along the way, some longer layovers. It just really wasn't ideal. But flying back into Minnesota actually is an option for you. But because the options getting there were pretty poor, I felt, and you're going to have to fly to New York anyways, I actually have you repositioning to New York because there's a more direct route for you to do so. And I thought it would be better because it's going to shorten your time in flights as well as number of stops. And from New York, I was actually able to find 2 business class seats flying on either Ethiopian Airlines or South African Airlines. Now I do have you leaving in April on April 15th, returning back to the States on April 22nd. Now the first option we're going to look at is the lowest in terms of miles, and that is going to be looking at ANA. But there are some potential negatives here. The positive though, it's 104,000 miles round trip per person in business class, but the fuel surcharges are going to be different depending on which airline you fly. So what I want to show here is, even though I have you flying in April, I want to show you the option that I have, or that I found earlier today, flying on Ethiopian Airlines. Because Ethiopian Airlines, you're going to see here, is 208,000 miles, but $217 in tax and fees, which sounds fantastic until you realize Ethiopian flies an angle flat seat over to Africa. So if you're looking for a lay flat seat, you're not going to get it with Ethiopian Airlines. And for some people, this is going to disqualify Ethiopian Airlines as a whole. If not, this is going to be the best option for you, and you're going to just have to reposition to New York and get home from New York. If you're looking for that true lay flat seat, we have another option. Let's go ahead and search again. We'll search our dates back to the dates of April 15th to April 22nd for 2 people in business class. Now this is going to be on South African Airlines. Now or South African Airways. When you look at South African Airways, it's still 208,000 miles, but it's over $1,700 in taxes and fees. Now, I'm not sure if that's a problem for you to spend. I know for myself, that's a lot of cash to part with, but for some people, they're okay with that. So if you're okay with that, you're gonna end up saving yourself a lot of miles this way. But if you're looking to save yourself cash as well, there is an option for you. We're gonna spend a little bit more in points, but we're gonna save you a lot of money in cash, roughly $1,500. So let's go ahead and take a look over at Aeroplan, because Aeroplan is the program we'd want to look at. Now from JFK, if we look at a round trip, JFK to, was it WDH? To Namibia, round trip, April 15th to the 22nd, 2 people, business class seats. Now as this loads up, the other options, we did have other options as well, but you might ask, why not United? United is 80,000 miles one way per person, and we have better options here. I don't think it's worth blowing ultimate reward points when you have a lot of membership reward points, and you're gonna get a better price doing it this way. But you could if you wanted to. The positive about United, they don't pass on fuel surcharges as well, but the options I'm about to show you here, the fuel surcharges are pretty minimal as well. So if you're looking to fly that same route on South African Airlines that we just searched over on ANA, it's going to cost you 300,000 miles, not 75,000 miles, one way per person plus taxes and fees. But the taxes and fees to fly this route on a true lay flat product is going to be roughly $226 US. I know it says $295 Canadian. It's roughly $226 US. Now, we have another option here because this is going to end up costing, this is both one stop, you can see. Let's just show the details real fast for you. You can see it's one stop, but it gets you into JFK, and then from JFK you need to get home. Now, if you want to reposition to begin with in JFK and then get back into Minnesota, you can do that. So we're going to flying WDH to MSP. Two people, business class, and we're going to search. Now, the other option this loads up is Avianca Life Miles. Now, Avianca charges you 78,000 miles per person one way. So you do have a lot of membership reward points. What I would say is I would wait if you're thinking about that. They don't pass on fuel surcharges as well. But you want to see if Membership Rewards has a transfer bonus to Avianca or even Aeroplan. If so, that's going to reduce your cost even more. But I would, if everything being equal, no transfer bonuses, I'm looking at probably Aeroplan to save money. But if you're okay with spending more money but saving the miles, I'm looking at ANA. So we have the same flight on the outbound because we're leaving from JFK. Now on the way home, I don't know why it says this. It's not a 3-stop. If you look, it's 2 stops. Not sure why it does that, but always worth checking into the descriptions of these flights because it's clearly wrong. Now this option here for you is still 300,000 miles. But it's going to end up costing you about $165 in taxes and fees to get yourself back home to Minnesota, and all you now need to worry about is repositioning to New York on the outbound flight. So I would end up choosing this option here for myself if I'm looking to save the cash. I mean, $1,500 is a lot to part with. If you kind of do the math out, I think it came out to about like 1.5 or 1.6 cents per point. The trade-off is if you want to spend $1,500 more, you're saving yourself that, but if you trade in basically that $1,500 for the 92,000 miles that you're saving yourself roughly about 1.5 cents per point. And overall, when I did the cash price of this, you're still getting like 4.5 to 5 cents per point, which is still really good. So the other option we should talk about, and this isn't really well talked about on a lot of different forums, is Virgin Atlantic to South African Airways as well. So we're going to jump over here. Now you can use your miles. Now you would have to go to JFK for this because the flight has to be completely on South African Airways, pretty much like with any other partner when you're using these non-alliance partners as a whole. Now from the US to South Africa, business class is 150,000 miles round trip plus taxes. Now Membership Rewards typically has transfer bonuses over to Virgin Atlantic. I feel like once or twice a year. We just saw one not too long ago, so it might not pop back up for a little bit. But to search this, you either want to search Aeroplan or even United. You can even search ANA as well to see the saver availability. If it's saver availability, you're going to need to call into Virgin Atlantic and book this flight. But this is another option for you if you're wanting to kind of use Virgin Atlantic, if there's a transfer bonus for those for your miles. So, like I said, the big decision you need to make is, do you want to spend fewer miles at 208,000 miles round trip, which is pretty solid. If you're okay with the angle flat, then by far Ethiopian Airlines is going to be the cheapest option for you, as well as a pretty direct route. But if you want that true lay flat experience, you're going to need to fly South African Airways, which I would say if you're okay with spending the cash, ANA. If not, save yourself some cash. $1,500 is a lot to do in some of these areas. Air Canada, Aeroplan is the place to look at. So, like I said, you have plenty of points to book this trip across the board. But let us know in the comments how you booked this flight when you decide to book this. But my question for everyone else out there is, are you someone who would spend the extra cash and save the miles? Or would you spend the extra miles and save yourself a lot of cash? I always find that to be an interesting topic of debate. But hey, if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you know somebody who might benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. And if you want to help support the channel, a simple way is to use the links on the website or in the description below. And if you like learning about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, or just flat out traveling for less, consider that subscribe button down below. And until next time, stay travels and take care.